Right then, you lot, welcome back to the Gaming Pantry. This is the Retro Bear. It's very cold in here today because it's gone very cold outside, and I haven't waited enough time for the heating to come back on. So in the meantime, you'll have to put case, if you see, like, you know, my breath on the air, that gives you an idea of cold it is in here. Anyway, welcome back to a first pickups video of 2023. Can you believe it? Yes. Now I know, and you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, you're a hypocrite, Retro Bear. And you may be it most of the time, actually. But yes, you said you're going to play more games this year. You weren't going to buy much more stuff this year. You were going to sit down and start working your way through your back catalogue. Well, yes, there we go. It is the 15th of January. I still haven't picked up a control pad in anger, and I've gone and bought a load more stuff, haven't I? There we go. Honestly, never promise to do anything, ever, that you can't stick to. Well, in the meantime, anyway, I will get to that. I will get to playing the games at some point. Hopefully, before the end of the month, we might actually sit down and start playing a few. But I can't guarantee it. Well, at the moment, anyway. The reason being, Hidden Chest Gaming relaunched at the start of January. And we did get out for the relaunch and have a look round. And we then went down, yes, I'm recording this Sunday afternoon, so we went down yesterday and I bought some stuff. And I went over to that Vintage Gamer today and bought some more stuff. The reason being is obviously I may have mentioned in my Christmas gift video that I did last week or the week before, that I had some monies from Christmas which I hadn't spent because I haven't been anywhere. And that's what I've basically gone and blown it all. And I've got quite a lot of stuff, but it's going to be very, very, well, I'll say it's going to be very, very, apart from one game, it is going to be incredibly 8-bit centric. So if it's 8-bit centric isn't your thing, yeah, you know, there's a few stories behind them. You like listening to the stories. I know you like listening to the stories because you keep telling me you like listening to the stories. But yeah, it's not be an awful lot of stuff here for you. But when you look around and you see what I'm surrounded by, it's a mixture into it. I mean, up here we got the Amiga stuff here, which lives there, some of it. That's the big box stuff behind them boxes there. Lives in harmony, side by side by the Saturn stuff, surrounded by the Wii stuff. And, you know, 8-bit is something that I'm very into at the moment. So it's great that we have two local independent retailers close to us here in the Midlands that are actually putting 8-bit stuff freely available, and it's great. So if you get a chance to go to the Hidden Chest Gaming, check out the relaunch down there. Go across and have a look at Retro Import Gamers channel. He did a shop tour, a revised shop tour of that. I must be honest with you, I was going to do that myself, but when we went in, it was just lots of people in there, so it was very difficult to do. Same with Vintage Gamer. Nick's had a refit as well. They've closed for a couple of months and reopened again. I think it was just before Christmas. And 14th of December, I think it was. Something like that anyway. And I would have done a whiz around there, but other people have been in and done that. And, you know, it looks very nice on the inside. He's made it certainly a lot more spacious in there. But a lot of stuff is very much in the same place. So you've also, you know, if you've been to Vintage Gaming, you know it looks like it is pretty much the same, but things have been moved around and tidied up. Both look great, really do. So it's going to be 8-bit stuff in this episode and a few stories behind things. I'd like, though, first of all, to take the opportunity to, on behalf of my good friend Dana, to promote an event that's coming up now. I say promote an event, I'm promoting this off my own back. I'm not being asked to do it. I'm not being paid to do it. I'm not involved in the event in any way, shape or form whatsoever. I haven't bought a ticket yet, don't tell him. So he's got an event coming up on the 26th of February, which is about 6 weeks away, I'm guessing. And it's the Black Country Games Fair, based here in the West Midlands. And that's going to be at the Arena Combat Archery Centre, out in Brierley Hill. Postcode DY51RG. Sunday the 26th of December. That's December. 26th of February. This is going really well, isn't it? Early bird tickets are priced at £2 and it's free entry after 11 o'clock. So I'm guessing this is running, say, between 10 and 4 or 10 and 3, something like that. Unfortunately, there don't appear to be start times on the flyer, which is a bit of a shame. There are some QR codes there, which I don't think you're going to be able to pick up. But if you go to www.blackcountryevents.com, there we go, blackcountryevents.com, and you'll be able to see what it's all about. I know 50% of the tables are sold. There's a few people I know coming down for it. You know, come down, come up, come left, come right. All are welcome. Do come along. Support this event. It's not going to be a Doncaster-sized event, but the idea is to have a little event like this, and a few other local independent retailers are getting involved as well. There's a few people I know who've purchased tables there at the same time. So do get involved in that. blackcountryevents.com for the Black Country Games Fair on the Sunday the 26th of February 2023. Cost you a couple of quid to get in, or free after 11 o'clock. If you live in the local area, you've got no excuse. I will be there at some capacity. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Well, I'll probably be there to see if there's anything 8-bit that'll take my fancy more like. I might have changed my mind by then. I don't know. I do support it. Like I said, I'm not being paid to say this. I'm doing a few little bit of bat because, you know, support the local events. I've got no excuse for that. So I'm like 4 miles away, literally 4 miles away. It's close to Birmingham. So I've got no excuse for being at that one anyway. So there we go. So do go along and support that. Right, let's get to some stuff that I've purchased, because that's what you hear, obviously, for the pickups. So yes, so I had about a ton for Christmas in cash. So I've gone and blown all that on. What you're going to see, I've picked up for that amount. Like I said, I've not really wanted to go and add to my collection because I want to play some a bit, but you know, you just have a weakness. Well, you're all gamers. You know, whether you buy to play or buy to collect or buy to display or whatever, we're all very much the same thing. It's very difficult to turn down something without falling off the wagon. Is it like alcoholism? I don't know. No, it's not. Look, it's one of those things. I'm not buying these for the sake of buying them. I'm buying them because I want them. So it's not one of these cases you buy stuff to do a video with. I want these things desperately. I need to have these things. For me, it's all about the nostalgia, you know, as opposed to this stuff behind me here, which is just all about because it's cheap. This is all about the nostalgia. This is stuff that I played when I was a kid that I also never had when I was a kid. So a very, very strange way of doing it. But now I've got the opportunity to buy these things myself and actually relive those and do them the proper way. I would like to start off with a gift though, because I sent a gift for the post which arrived Saturday, I think it was. Yeah, Saturday, before we went out. From my very good friend David, Retro Games Played Badly. He did a video. We met David at Doncaster a few months back, and he did a video where in his video he said he bought this game thinking he hadn't got it, and then when he got home he had. In fact, we were on the way back from Doncaster and he sent me a WhatsApp message to say I'm an idiot and posted a photograph of him holding the game he bought that day with a copy he'd already got. So he said he would send it to me, and he did last week, which is great. And this is for the Spectrum, and this is RoboCop 2. I think this is David's copy, because the original copy, because the one he got I think was much better. I would have had it not been priced up at what it was. But yeah, so I played RoboCop 2 on the Amiga. I think I had the demo of it. Never actually played it all the way through, all the full game. Now, one of the great things about these old 8-bits, if you're not new to 8-bit stuff, things to look for on these things are things like bags which hold tapes and instructions, which are great. And you can see there's the instruction of tapes in there as well. But these little branded Ocean bags are fantastic. I've got quite a few of these now, which is quite nice. And the box is in pretty good condition. I mean, for a game which is nearly 30 years old, it's in pretty good nick. If I found that, I'd be very happy with that. So thank you again, David, for sending that through. Really appreciate it, mate. Really, really good. If you don't know who David is, it's this gentleman up here. There we go. Perfect face for radio he's got. Hopefully I might see him again in a couple of weeks' time. That'd be nice. So, yeah, so thanks very much for that, mate. Really appreciate it. I think, as I said to you yesterday, you said I know I'd look after it, and I think, as I said to you, so it's going to be pretty much in exactly the same condition you've given it to me in for the rest of its existence. It probably implies I'm never going to play it. No, I will do. I will do. Right, so let's talk about Hidden Chest. Hidden Chest Gaming. You may or may not be aware, probably mostly you will be aware because I've spoken about it previously. Ant Harper has now moved some of his stock in there, the Retro Collect, I think it is. Retro Collector. I'll stick a link in anyway. You know, I've mentioned that before. I've met him a few times now, which is nice. Mrs. Bear's done some repairs for him, which he's very happy with, and I think she's got some more ongoing or upcoming anyway. So Ant's moved a lot of his stock in, because Ant had his own website. He's still got his website, I think, as well. And he and Dana have been moving the shop around the last month or so, just trying to accommodate Ant's stuff in there along with Dana's existing stock. Really is a fantastic looking place now, it really is. Great big 8-bit sections. This is right up my street, really. So I think everything here is all Ant stuff, which is great, because kicks him off and running and clears some things down. Now, before I went out, I made a list of what I had for things I'm in the interest for at the moment. That's with compilations and hit squads. Sorry, you didn't catch that? Yes, I hit squads. Not collecting them, I'm gathering them. Gathering of hit squads, that's what they're called. So I'd made a list beforehand, thought, right, what I'll do is I'll go down and see what there is. I know when I looked down there the first week I went down, there's quite a few, and I thought, oh well, I'll take my list just in case there are ones I'm missing, and then I can fill in any gaps, depending on the price. And the price was very good. And I'll show you what I bought from Ant. Ant did me a deal, so I'm not going to discuss that here. That's between me and him. It was a cracking deal, I will say that. So thank you very much again, Ant, for that. Really appreciate it. But I did actually buy a non-8-bit game, which I didn't mention at the start, did I? No, because I've lured you in. So I bought a DS game. That's the second DS game I bought in the last few months. I don't buy DS games. Why don't I buy DS games? Because I find the idea of, at my age, trying to sort of play a game on a small screen incredibly impossible to do. But there was something about this game which really appealed to me. I don't know why. The last game I bought for the DS from Hidden Chest Gaming, ironically, which was before Christmas, which was a Trauma Centre game, which I've got a couple on the Wii. And I like those games. Plus the fact that I think in another life I would have been a doctor, which really, I think the NHS is bad now. Yeah. And this is exactly the same sort of game. So I thought, do you know what, for whatever price it was, and it was only a few quid, and I bought Life Signs on the DS, which has got one of those sort of Scandinavian labels on the front of it. It's also got 5 different languages on the back, and it appears to be very much in the anime style. And having watched a video about this on YouTube, incredibly strange storyline, and honestly, I think I might have a bit of fun with this one. As an ambitious young doctor, you handle serious emergencies, perform critical surgery, and also grapple with the sometimes all too human factor, semicolon, power struggles among colleagues, dramas involving patients and relationships. And it's classified as 12 plus. It's going to be quite interesting. It is all complete. If you want to see the inside there, the manual, the safety manual and the cartridge. But for a few quid, I thought, you know what, I'll just have a stab at that, because it might be quite fun. I like Trauma Centre to do all the operations and things, so yeah. So yeah, that wasn't very expensive, and I thought, you know what, for what it was, and the fact I got a deal, it was good. So pick those up. Right. We're on to the 8-bit stuff. That is the non-8-bit stuff done. Sorry, that is it for this episode. But stick with me. Right, couple of compilations now. I've got Commodore 64 compilations. Those of you who watched a lot of my stuff last year would have realised I was purely focused on picking up compilations. Why was I obsessed with picking up compilations? Well, 2 reasons for that. One, they're iconic and they're very nostalgic. That's 2 reasons. So technically 3 regions. Iconic and nostalgic, they were advertised in the magazines all the time. Mostly Ocean compilations, but these two are Ocean compilations. But compilations for any publisher or developer, because you would get 4 or 5 games shoved in there. You know, in some cases 2, as we saw, with no limits and demons and drivers, up to 7 or 8, which, you know, Taisho, coin-op hits, etc. And it's just great value for money back then. And you get a variety, you know, a real variety of games in. So why am I collecting them now, 35 years later? Again, for the price you pay for them, you're getting quite a good value. I don't like to pay more than about £5 for a compilation, which works out about £1.25 a game. Some cases cheaper. So you're still getting a fair abundance of titles for not a lot of money. The fact I may have these already on single tapes or dual case or, you know, cardboard box like Robocop was, doesn't really make a difference to me. It's just having these things. And this is one that a friend of mine had, and I've mentioned him before. He had a Commodore 64, lived up the road. I spent a lot of time playing all the games there. And this is one of the compilations he actually had. And it's also one of the compilations I've actually got on the Spectrum and the Amstrad as well. And I couldn't believe I didn't have this one. And ironically, I was having a conversation with Mrs. Bear in the car on the way to Hidden Chest, and I said, you know, there's only one compilation I've got no compilations across all 3 systems. I said, but I've got 2 of this one. And I was sort of trying to go through the list with her in the car. She seemed really thrilled to have this conversation. Sort of things you have in your pockets when you hit a traffic jam. Oh, well, as we're sitting there doing nothing, just go through this game this way. So I've got this one, which is We Are the Champions. No, it's not a game about the 1980s children's television programme, for those of you old enough to remember. We've got 5 games on here. Ironically, of course, not all these games are actually Ocean games. Ocean put the compilations out. All 5 games appeared on the Hit Squad label, I believe. No, they didn't, actually. No, they didn't. 4. No, Barbarian didn't. Sorry, apologies for that. Barbarian didn't. But anyway, so you got Super Sprint, which is the car one. We've got Renegade, Rampage. We've got Barbarian here. And then, of course, we've got IK+. So 5 absolutely cracking little games there. You won't really see much of that unless you can get really close to the television or you're watching on a big television. There we go. And on the inside, of course, we do like to see, it's got the manual with it. Lovely, nice condition manual. It's been used, and then we've got the tapes in there with the old tape holder in it as well. So very nicely done, that one. But yes, so I now own that across the Spectrum, the Amstrad, and the Commodore 64. Why would I want to do that? Well, I don't know. Because it's cheap, probably. But I just like the idea of it. I just like the idea of having those games across the system. I mean, yeah, it's a fair condition, I would say. It's not utterly mint condition, but then again, a lot of this stuff isn't. Just excuse me a second here, because t-shirt is a touch tight around the neck, so if I am bristling up against the microphone. I'm sorry about that. Now this other one, the other compilation I picked up, also on a Commodore 64, is actually an upgrade on one I've got already. It's a cracking little upgrade. About 2 and a bit, it's nearly 3 years ago. God, it's been 3 years. Nearly 3 years ago, I did a trade during COVID with somebody who sent me a load of games, which, you know, some really nice stuff in there. Unfortunately, one of the games was missing from the tape box, and on further inspection, this one, my copy that was traded, the copy that I got for the trade, turned out to be now. I only found out about this last week, was actually missing bits as well. There's one game in this compilation which has got 2 tapes to it. I've only got 1 tape in the copy I received, and that tape is absolutely mould encrusted beyond. I've not seen a tape like it. It's completely unworkable. It's also a game which is quite hard to find, not only the Hit Squad re-release, but also in the original packaging. In fact, I can't even remember the original. I can remember seeing it advertised, so it must have had an original release. So I picked this up, which is Night Moves for the Commodore 64. It's a lovely condition. It really is quite nice, that one. And the games you've got in question, you've got Sly Spy, Secret Agent, which is a sort of a James Bond thing. We've got Nightbreed, which I played a few weeks ago on Commodore Corner, a few months ago now. Midnight Resistance, which I don't think I've got an actual physical copy of. And also over here we've got Shadow Warriors, which I have got a physical copy of. Nothing on the back to show you. But yeah, so what I didn't know that Slice By actually come on 2 tapes. The instructions you can probably just see are just behind there. You can see the end for Night Move. So we've got the instructions. All 5 tapes are in now. I've dropped the box lid again. But yes, I mean, obviously this is therefore a complete compilation and also upgrades the box. Certainly upgrades Slice By anyway. And Slice By, you know, it's not easy going to pick up. It's quite expensive. Hit Squad version, I think, it's about 30 quid. So I'm expecting the standalone version to possibly be even a little bit more or a little bit less than that. But yeah, nice little compilation, that one. So happy to have that and complete that one. So those are compilations I picked up. Now the rest of them, yes, are hit squads. I know. Now these are all going to be, apart from 2. Oh no, hang on, I've got another box to show you, haven't I? Sorry. Oh, I thought the hit squads comprised. No, got another box. Another box to show you. Commodore Cardboard, final Commodore Cardboard. Game I wax lyrical about all the time. Grew up in an era where puzzle games like Tetris and Columns, Puzznic, plotting were all the rage. Love those games. And this is one of my personal favourites. I know some people like it as much as I do. A lot of people don't like it. I've got copies on Master System. I think I've got it anything else. I think I've got it on I've definitely got it on the Commodore 64 10-gen compilation, although my copy of the 10-gen compilation is racked off, to be honest with you. So I've actually got a standalone copy of Clax. Yes, that tile game that nobody else, well, apart from me and a few people, seem to like. I just love it. I just love puzzle games. What's probably interesting for me at the time is actually an arcade game as well, which is interesting. And it's complete with the instructions as well. So again, that was like not a lot of money at all. Nice condition box as well. I'm happy to take that one for what I paid for it. So lovely. So yeah, so right, so now we can move on to the hit squads. Yes, we can move on to hit squads. We've got, it's mostly Amstrad, I'm afraid, folks. Sounds like I was disappointed. It's mostly Amstrad. No, we got 2 Commodore 64s. We've got Spectrum as well. So we'll show you those first. We're in the Commodore 64 frame of mind at the moment, so we'll talk about those 2. Now, like I said, this was just filling in gaps. This wasn't me going out hunting. I was just simply filling out the gaps in my collection. A couple of these I've already, it's interesting, a couple of these games, I think there's only 2 games that I have, titles I have, across the 8-bit Hit Squad collection. One is Afterburner. I can't remember what the other one is off the top of my head. I'm not trying to. Let me state this again quite clearly. I'm not going for a full set. You know, young Martin over at the Hoppy Lodge, he's going for a full Commodore 64 set. Hats off to you, my friend. I wish you the very best of luck with that. Others have tried and failed. You know, I know from speaking to Mr. Bads and David, retro games play badly. How, you know, and Paul Retro about it as well. Yeah, these people have moved, you know, heaven and earth and spent hundreds and hundreds of pounds on games that you just wouldn't think. I had a quick check earlier. You know, there's a copy of Hook sold recently for £190. I'm not going to be paying £190 for a Hit Squad game. I don't need to collect Hit Squads. I like the uniformity. The label, again, like all this other stuff, is nostalgic, and you know, it's a happy thing for me to have. I like how they're all lined up, but I'm not interested in going for a full set. I don't want to be sitting there drunk on eBay. You know, I'm looking at here, and a copy of something comes up, and I, you know, press the button for. Well, I'm not allowed to be drunk on eBay because I don't drink, and I don't use eBay all that often either. So it's very, very. I'm not the sort of person who sits there and goes in and sits there actively searching these things out. If I see them on a shelf in a shop, as I have done here, I will buy them. But I'm not actively going out saying I need to buy Hit Squads. So, you know, I know that sounds like, you know, bollocks, but it's true. Honestly, it's true. Majority of my Commodore 64 Hit Squads came from a bundle I got years ago. Scott Sega Zombie was sending off a load of his Spectrum Hit Squads. I wanted them because there were titles in there that I hadn't got on the Commodore 64. And I thought, where else am I going to get a bundle like this for a price like that? And then I got an Amstrad load in the bundle from Vintage Gamer, where we just agreed the price for, you know, a carry case of games. So it's those opportunities that come around, and I'll add them to collection. Otherwise, I'm not going to be walking around trudging the streets, driving from independent to independent to independent, looking just for hit squads. Just because I've got quite a lot here might sort of make you think, you're a bloody hypocrite again. No, this is how it's going to be. I've been to other places where I've left hit squads behind because I don't want to get involved in it. I left hit squads behind this weekend because I thought, I'm not getting involved in that. Because I know how much some of those games were. Do I really need, you know, I know a little bit about them, but not enough. But these I know because the prices were, and I thought, well, these are only a few quid each. These, you know, no stellar titles. I've got a few stellar titles. There's none of the big hitters in here. I'm just filling in gaps on this on my collection. So anyway, right, rant over, or defence over for the guilty. Two Commodore 64 ones. Firstly, I couldn't believe I haven't got this, but I know I've got it on the dual case. And again, you're probably going to say, well, we've already got it on the dual case. Why do you want the hit squad? Oh, get over it. Just because I do. Don't need, you know, didn't need to buy this. I've already got it, but I want it because it looks nice. Okay, a New Zealand story, which is a game I'm very, very familiar with. There we go. I'm not going to show you the insides. I'm going to just try to show you the backs. Inside's got a tape in it. So there you go. Yeah, very well regarded game at the time. Classic platformer. I had it on the Amiga. Loved it. Played it to death. Don't think, like I said before, I don't think I actually finished it, but I've got it on that one. I've got it on, I've got the Rainbow Collection compilation. I've got it on dual case. I've got it on the Master System, which is a beautiful conversion of it. So, you know, I don't need any more copies of New Zealand Story, possibly. This one, actually, I'm happy to have, because I don't think I've got a copy of this anywhere in my collection, which is fine. So therefore, purpose of getting it is priceless in that case. The Untouchables, which is based on the 1987 Kevin Costner, Robert De Niro, Sean Connery film. Very good film. You've never seen that. Do go back and watch it. And this is from Ocean. Ocean releases a full price title originally. The formulaic system they used for making licensed games, splitting them into sort of 5 levels of platform and puzzle solving and possibly even the 3D shooting. You played Robocop, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's very much the same sort of thing. So yeah, but I don't think that's, like I said, from memory, I haven't got that anywhere. I might prove myself wrong when I actually go through and properly list everything and go, oh yeah, I've already got it, but that was fine. And then that's the Commodore 64 ones. They're done. The one Spectrum one I've got, and again, you know, this game is common as muck. It is common. And again, I couldn't believe I got it. I've got the other 2 games in the series on the Spectrum, but I hadn't got this one. But I've got this one for the Amstrad and the Commodore 64. And this is Daddy Thompson's Decathlon, the original joystick destroyer. I mean, can you believe I haven't got it? Now, also what's interesting here is this is the 48K mode cassette. Now, there actually is a 128K version as well. So, there potentially is the possibility of actually going to buy the 128 version as well. I don't know. But yeah, it's basically athletics, track and field. And anybody who knows what a joystick is, back in the day, you get all the joystick, you got this and you found a really firm surface and you waggled the shit out of it, you know what I mean? I'm aware that's £2 already, by the way, which is fair. This year's total, which I still need to talk about. Yeah, you just waggle the joystick, you know, pick it up with a base, shake it around, hammer the keys, you can use the keys as well. Would destroy your computer equipment dead easy. But yeah, I got Daddy Thompson's Super Test and I got Daddy Thompson's Olympic Challenge for the Spectrum on Hit Squad, but I hadn't got Decathlon. Can you believe that? That game's so common. It really is. I think Super Test is more common. I'll give him at least 2 copies of Super Test to people. So anyway, so those are all the Spectrum ones and the Commodore 64 ones. The rest of the ones I got from Hidden Chest are Amstrad. And again, this is just games that I didn't have. I'll try and whiz through these. Terrible game, Crazy Cars. I know what some people tell me, oh, it's a great game, Crazy Cars. No, it's not. people keep telling me the third one's very good. I never played the third one because the first two were atrocious, so why should I play the third game? It's like, it's like, why would you watch the third film in a series when you haven't seen 1 and 2? You know, I don't know. So yeah, Crazy Cars. Again, common. You know, I said a lot of these are quite common titles, but I hadn't got them because I wasn't collecting them, you see. Yeah, see, it works its way around. I'm not collecting them, actually collecting them. Otherwise I'd have got them, wouldn't I? Rambo First Blood Part 2. Old Stallone on the front there. In classic Commando clone from back in the day. I say clone, I don't know, it might have been. You know, played Commando or Ikari Warriors, so it's the same sort of thing. I think it can be sped running a couple of minutes on the Commodore 64 if you're really interested in that thing. Another joystick waggler. This was actually an arcade game, Combat School. Yeah, so it's paramilitary training courses and things. But it was actually an arcade game originally. There we go. So, Combat School. This is a game I always get confused with Rygar. I don't know why, I always have done. It's one of those blindness things I think people have, you know, and you go, oh yeah, is that the game? No, it's not that game. I keep getting those two mixed up. Yeah, so I always mistake Rygar for Rastan and vice versa. And this is a side-scrolling, I suppose, hack 'em up. Because you're walking around with a large sword or an axe or something. Yeah, played the 64 version of that many years ago. We've got here, based on the film, I couldn't get on with it. It's Platoon, based on the 1986 Oliver Stone film. It's very I say controversial at the time. It's about Vietnam. It was still very much fresh in people's minds, I think. Anyway, no, I can never get on with Platoon. Same way I can't really get on with Predator. But I've got a big box version. I think Commodore 64 big box version with a poster, missing the tape and the audio tape. Got Rampage, classic 3-player arcade action, controlling a gorilla or a werewolf or a lizard, and just destroying buildings. It's great fun, this game. I've got this game so many times in my collection now. I've even got the version on the Wii, Rampage Total Destruction, which I think has got built into it Rampage World Tour from the N64. But yeah, I just love this game. It's just so much fun. It's pretty basic. I mean, if you're not into it, you're not going to enjoy it. But I love it. It's great. It's really good. Another one I've got on a couple of other systems, Commodore 64 version is definitely terrible. The Spectrum is much better. And this is Enduro Racer, which was an arcade machine back in the mid-80s with like a dirt bike mounted to the front of it, if you were lucky. Otherwise, it was just a handlebar thing. You can probably squint at some of the screenshots. I've hidden the Commodore 64 one behind the barcode. It's atrocious. An old video on my channel about me playing that. Terrible game. Terrible game. You've seen this one already, so I'll just show it you again. It's the New Zealand story, which I now have got all 3 Hit Squad 8-bit variants of. Oh, there's a sticker on the back there. This came originally from Eccles Exchange and Mart, 105 Liverpool Road, Eccles, M30, Manchester. There we go. I wonder if they're still there. This is 0161 Switch region, so I can't show you the back of the box, but if you saw the back of the box before, it's exactly the same. Exactly the same as that one there. But yeah, New Zealand stories, that's added to that one. We mentioned it a short while ago, Predator, with this really unique designed cutaway plastic bit in the box, which I'll need to replace that. Didn't realise that until I got home. But yeah, again, I couldn't get on with this one at all. A lot of people actually said that. I was under the impression it was a very popular game, very well received game. It was, I think, but a lot of people didn't like it like I did. These now probably get onto the less common titles. You don't see these all so much. So, you know, a lot of those there pretty much are very sort of basic common ones. These ones, yeah, they look a little bit harder for these. I've got this on the Spectrum. This is the real Ghostbusters based on the cartoon series. The game was actually, had the real Ghostbusters characters siphoned into it from an obscure arcade game, if I remember. It's not meant to be very good. In fact, it's got little to do. I mean, apart from the licensing, and it's not even a real Ghostbusters game. Wasn't a fan of the cartoon myself, not my sort of thing. Got this on tape. I got this big box. In fact, I may have actually got this on the Amstrad. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did. Got the dual case version of this one. And it's Red Heat. If you remember, I spoke about Red Heat and said I'd never seen it. We did actually manage to watch it in October, November time, and to be honest with you, the 30 odd year wait wasn't really worth it. It was pretty standard Schwarzenegger fare. But there we go. Not meant to be a great game either. It's like unique in the fact that you're moving left and right, shot from the waist, not literally shot, but the character from the waist up, and you're just walking around punching people. Yeah, interesting one. And this one will need a box replacement because it's not quite the right box. It's got a black case. All the Hit Squads ones, if you are, starting out on your Hit Squad journey, they all need to be clear cases like this one, clear front and back. This one is wrong, which is a shame because that's one I paid the most for actually. This is R-Type, which I've now got on the Spectrum, and I've also got on the PC Engine Mini, and I think I've got on the Atari ST as well. It's a classic shoot 'em up from the day. The PC Engine version is by far and away the most iconic. But yes, it's an old-fashioned shoot 'em up, side-scrolling shoot 'em up. But yeah, it needs changing because that shouldn't be on there. So that was all the stuff I had out of Hidden Chest. Quite a bit, as you can see. Yeah, I said Ant did me a cracking deal. Thanks very much indeed for that. Do appreciate it. And my plan now is to go back. I know we go most weekends anyway, because Mrs. Bear is picking up stuff for the Retro Repair Bear, which thank you again to everybody who's contacted her, supported her, has donated. She picked some items up yesterday. Lots of people contacted her on social media as well. I'm not going to mention the website apart from say the words retrorepairbear.co.uk. I won't show the flyer this time, but yeah, you got any mods you need doing, any repairs you need doing, any servicing on your consoles and computers, get in touch with Mrs. Bear, and she'll be able to sort you out. So we're going down quite a bit, and I thought, you know what, next time I'm going to go down, I'm going to go through my other interest, because there's a lot of budget re-releases that there's Kicks label to collection for, Mastertronic to collect for, Codemasters. My good friend Sean at Retro Games Revive has got some obscure subsets and Americana alternative software, things like that. So there's a real rabbit hole to it's not a rabbit hole, a complete warren to fall down. But yeah, it'd be nice actually, because a lot of these games I do look at now and think, have I got that? Have I not got that? And these are actually games that I would like to play, not I'm collecting because of the label. These are slightly different. Yes, I would like to play a lot of these, but at the same time I'm picking those up for the label. A lot of these things I'm looking at thinking, I'd like to play that, because there's so many budget titles and budget re-releases commonly you can pick up. Not all of them, mind you, but there's things like that. So I'd like to explore that. I'm in no rush to explore that, put it that way. I'd like to play some of these first, that's the main thing. Right, went out to Vintage Gamer today. First time I've been in, I went in when the shop was pretty much done. Me and Retro Kit, or the Lamer Gamer as he's calling himself now, my mate John, we popped in, had a quick nose round before they re-officially opened. It was a Sunday before they opened. Really, really nice in there. Before they had the flood, if you're not aware, they had I think it was the day after they relaunched, they came in the following morning, the place had a leak in the ceiling, water everywhere. So it's the first time I've been in since they closed it down properly, officially. And they were busy in there. It was like, Hidden Chest was busy yesterday. And Vintage Gamer was busy again today. I said to Claire, I thought, yeah, it won't be long, just pop out and have a quick look. And it got there and it was just full of people. So great stuff. So we got some Amstrad again. Got loads of Amstrad, loads of Spectrum. Not so much Commodore 64. I'd like to buy more Commodore 64 dual cases because I've got space for those. But I'm running out of space, feeling space gradually reallocated for all this stuff is gradually being filled up. So more Amstrad, and there is one Hit Squad. I'll do that one first, shall I? Get it out of the way. Because we couldn't agree on price on two others, Hit Squads and one on Spectrum one, but again, ones I hadn't got. But I wanted this one, and I saw it in there before the shop re-officially opened again. It was still there when I went, so in a way it's quite good. So I'm not going to tell you what I paid for these again, because I did a deal with Nick. So this is Nemesis on the Amstrad. This is I think this was the prequel to Salamander. I think the two are connected. But again, it's a side-scrolling shooter. I've got Salamander on the Commodore 64 Hit Squad, and I've got the actual dual K Spectrum release as well, which is quite cool. You don't see that one all that often, but yeah, so pick that one up. I said that's one I did want. I thought, oh, I definitely want that one. And then these, got some Amstrad cardboard. Yeah, Amstrad cardboard. We've got Commodore 64 cardboard, Amstrad cardboard. This one I remember from years and years ago, seeing advertised in the magazines. I never played it though, but I love the artwork on the front of this. This is one of the great things about these old games, the artwork. It's absolutely brilliant. From the creators of Strider and Ghouls and Ghosts, the much forgotten Black Tiger, which was a Capcom release, and of course US Gold converted it, so usually you tag all the words with hilarious consequences afterwards, if you ever played some of their coin-up conversions. But yeah, look at that lovely artwork on the front. Really do like that. It's very much in the vein of left to right side-scrolling hack-em-up, I suppose, really. Maybe it's the same vein of, I think Ghouls and Ghosts is quite a good way to describe it, but that style game, if you want something a bit more appropriate to it, I'd say probably a combination between Golden Axe and Rastan, something like that. A bit oriental as well. So we got the instructions in there. There we go, instructions. We've also got one of them as well, which is not the official bag, I don't think, but it's got the tape in there. Yeah, so someone's actually going to put that in there, and there we go. It's not the greatest, not the cleanest tape in the world, but it is in there anyway. So there we go. A bag is better than no bag. What's that say there? US Gold have created the gold standard only others can seek to emulate. I think most of us who played any US Gold game from back in the day would probably turn around and say, do you know what, I don't agree with that. They weren't great. Some of the stuff they did was good, but not all it was. Then we got Schwarzenegger's Total Recall. I played the 64 version of this and I couldn't really get on with it. I think that's because my joystick was knackered. So I might have to go back and play that one. Again, we mentioned the bags. There's an ocean bag there with the tape and the instructions in it. And this is based on the Arnold Schwarzenegger 1990 film. Got some screenshots on the back. Again, as always, a screenshot from various computers. The top, I'm guessing there, is a Spectrum shot, which is quite nice, isn't it, that? One of the great things I love about Spectrum graphics is they are beautifully drawn. They might be limited in the palette of colours and backgrounds you could have, but I was watching New Zealand Story, a video on it the other day, and I was just impressed by how nice it looked, because the Amstrad version is not great, the Commodore 64 version is not great. The main sprite, Tiki the Kiwi, for New Zealand Story on the Spectrum, beautifully drawn. And so are the rest of the enemies and everything like that. It's nice. I always like that. Yes, like you mentioned in Janubeary, so beautiful graphics, beautifully drawn graphics, really were very well put together. Just suffer with that, everything's the same colour or whatever. Then this one's a bit of a rarity. The last game I'm finishing on, a bit of a rarity, because I've heard the game, but I've never seen a copy of it before. Now we obviously doing a bit of research about this, because obviously things like this sort of stump Nick a lot of the time, because he'll quite upset. He said, "Oh no, not Amstrad." He said, "Oh, I have a real struggle with some of these games I can't find at all. I don't know what to charge people." Blah, blah, blah. So he's going through this. We found a copy of the disc version of this, which sold on Christmas Day this last year, which went for about 40 quid, I think it was. So we agreed a price on this because it's a tape version. I don't know if it's a good price. We couldn't find the listing for it anywhere. I don't know if it's a good price or not. We don't know. We'll never know. So I've either overpaid or underpaid, but I'm not going to tell you what I paid for it. I'll know what I paid for it. So if anybody has anything else about how rare this game was, what the value of this game is, please do let me know. And it's Hot Rod, which is actually, I'll just try and find it. You see it on the front there? Yeah, it is. You can't quite see it, maybe there. It's a Sega game. So, and it looks from there, it is, if I remember correctly, a top-down racing game. But I think it was a very, shall we say, what's the word I'm looking for? Unremarkable arcade game. Those are actually the Atari ST screenshots. It was a rather unremarkable arcade game, and therefore it was a rather unremarkable conversion of an unremarkable arcade game, which probably means it's not bad. It's just not, you know, going to knock your socks off. I'll get the box open. I'll show you what's inside. Yeah, but it comes with the bag, and also, or a bag. It also got the instructions in there as well. But yeah, I mean, it looks really good, that one. But yeah, I just haven't seen it before. It's again things like this. I haven't seen it before. I'm aware of the game, but you know, it's you know, nice condition as well. You know, not going to win any grade A's, but you know, acceptably good condition. So I was happy with that one. But it'd be interesting if anyone knows, you know, anybody's seen that or played it or known about it. I'm not sure any Amstrad people watch this channel, so I know about a lot of people who watch it are into sort of Spectrums and Commodore 64s, which is fine. But if there are people out there who do know a bit about the Amstrad, I'd love to know a bit more about those. Especially Hot Rod, that'd be good. And that's your lot. There we go. Aye, that's your lot. Don't forget, Black Country Games Fair, blackcountryevents.com, Sunday the 26th of February, probably from about 10 o'clock in the morning. It costs you £2 to get in, free after 11 o'clock. Briley Hill in the West Midlands at the Arena Combat Archery Centre, Little Cottage Street in Briley Hill, DY51RG. Pause the video, write that number down. Get in there, you can buy early bird tickets off the website. You can also book your stall as well. Do support that event, especially if you're local. And I know there's a lot of people coming from all over the country to come along and support that event as well, so that'd be fantastic. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to leave you in peace now. Thanks very much for watching that. I know it's very 8-bit heavy. I am sorry about that for those who don't enjoy that sort of thing, but it's all part of being a collector, and maybe I'll play some of these one day. Or they'll be buried with me, one of the two, I don't know. Thanks very much indeed for watching. This has been the Retro Bear. This has been the Gaming Pantry, and I'll see you again soon. Until then, take care, as always, and bye for now.